Yo, what's going on? It is Game Time Tennis in the building, and this is part 2 of how to stop being out coached. Stop getting out coached, part 2. Okay. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I've had so much support on my first video. I posted it and sent it to a couple of coaches and things like that. And they're like, man, this is great. Man, I can't wait for part 2. All right, so again, like, comment, and subscribe. This is part 2 of how to stop getting out coached. Now, I had the luxury a couple of years ago of being a basketball coach for a 7th grade basketball team. Now, you would say, but you coach tennis. Yeah, but tennis was not the first sport that I played. It's actually the last sport that I ended up trying and fell in love. Another story for another day, but it is what it is. So I go out and I say, hey, you're gonna be the head 7th grade coach. Now, I've always been and I've always grown to try to learn the concept of the game that I was getting ready to play. If I could master the concept, then I could use my prior knowledge with the concept to create a decent game plan. Not the world's greatest coach by any means. I'm not, a Greg Popovich or anybody like that. I'm not a Steve Nash or, I'm not coaching the Brooklyn Nets or, the Lakers or anything like that. It's 7th grade basketball. But I think I got a pretty good concept of what's going on. And basketball is actually my favorite sport. Crazy enough, if I didn't play tennis, I'd be playing basketball a lot. I love basketball, man. Not a bad player either. I'm really solid as a tennis player, but man, I love basketball. Now, fast forward, get the team, have tryouts. The ugliest tryouts you could possibly imagine, because I had 8 players solid. 4 solid, 4 that could do it if I told them exactly how to do it, and everybody else, they go to the B team. Easy. After about day 2, I already knew what was going on. Hey, B team. You already know where you're going, kid. You know you're on that end of the gym. Don't even ask me. You go to the B squad. Straight up. You can be the starting guard for the B squad. You're going to travel and double dribble anyway. I mean, it was a clear defining difference. And I loved every last one of my boys. Man, those are my kids, man. I still, to this day, man, I still get text messages from my kids. Hey, coach, come check out my game. And I try to go as much as I can, man. Now, fast forward, first game of the season. Win by maybe 12. First game, okay. First dub in the books. Second game, beat a team at home. We beat our rival team. 30 ball. Boom. Oh, we was killing. And the energy, the workouts, the grind, it all just paid dividends. And they weren't amazing when they first started working out and we first started doing our practices. They were not the most amazing team. But I gave them a concept and I gave them an understanding of what we're going to do and how we're going to be successful, how we're going to beat a lot of teams. We were not going to have a losing record if I had anything to say about it. And we only lost 1 game. Last game of the season. So let me tell you about this last game. Get in. We're playing the number 1 team in the district. So number 1 and number 2 in the district. Man, this team had 3 Steph Currys, maybe a Clay, maybe a DeMar DeRozan, like 2 DeMar DeRozans, maybe a Damian Lillard. Like, that's the kind of players that they had. They had 8 guards, no bigs. They just ran. We had that concept, but we had not the size, but we had 3 guards solid. Let's see, Blake. We had maybe 3 guards solid. Two or 3 guards that your bigs or your 3 or 4 guard kind of players. So a little bit of more size, still fairly good shooters. Then we had role players, 4 solid, just tell me what to do, coach, I'm gonna do it. Okay? That's it. And so our team didn't look like their team. As a matter of fact, our team looked way worse in certain respects than their team. Because they had all shooters. They had like 8 shooters. We had 3, 4 maybe. Maybe 4. Everybody else was just a role player. Now, they all hustled. My team was not going to be out hustled. That was not going to happen. But nonetheless, it was going to be a tough game. Go in there. And this is where the lesson comes in at. 4 minutes, 26 seconds. This was 2 years ago, and I still remember this. The 4 minute and 26 second mark, I looked up. The scoreboard was to the left of me. I looked up. We're up by 6. Yeah, we're up by 6. I'm rolling. And we're at home. Everybody's cheering. The gym is full. Everybody knows this is it, and it's the last game of the season. Everybody knows what's up. And something clicked. And it wasn't for us. Kid comes down, bow, hits a 3 on one of my guards' faces. Oh, I mean, it was bow. And we're like, oh, okay. Now we're only up by 3. Get a fast break. Now they only down by 1. Come down, boom, boom, boom. Get a fast break after a missed rebound. We didn't get back fast enough. Boom. Now they're up by 1. At that point, maybe before the fast break, I would say maybe 2 plays before that fast break that put them up by 1, I should have called time out. Today's biggest lesson is know when to burn the timeout. Burning the timeout in this game, in basketball and tennis and football and all the sports that have the legal ability to call a timeout, to make an adjustment, you should know when to call it. A basketball coach is not going to let you go on a 20-0 run before they call a timeout. You go on a 2 or 3 or 5 or 6, it's almost like clockwork. You know what happens. They get 3 possessions in a row of blown assignments, timeout. It's like clockwork. It's so bad. When I play 2K on my Xbox, I'm decent. When I play 2K, I already know when the timeout is coming. I let the computer call a timeout, but I already know when it's coming. They start 2 or 3, timeout. I look at the clock, timeout. I should have burnt the timeout. Fast forward, we lose by like 12 or 13. Really hard fought game. Just couldn't really back in. We got even close back to bringing it into like 2 points at one point in time. So that one hurt. Now, one thing I did learn, again, should have burnt the time out. But how does that apply to tennis? How does it apply to anything? If I would go back in time for a little bit, I would have told myself to burn that time out a little bit earlier. When I started seeing that gap close, I should have just go ahead and burned it. In tennis, you got to know when to burn the time out from all the work that you're putting in. See, some players go through a stage where they start to grow and then they taper, and they taper for too long, and they're still training and practicing and working out and training and practicing and working out and playing tournaments, playing high school, playing middle school, whatever the case may be. And here it is. And you just started not too long ago, 1 or 2 years ago, 3 years ago, but you're now just here. There's only two options. You can go up or you can go down. Before you burn yourself out and hit this downward spiral, call a timeout for yourself. Take a step back from the game. Take some time to evaluate what's going on. Take the time out. Coaches, working with your players, training 2, 3, 4 days a week, 5 days a week, whatever the case may be, however many hours a day, doing all these drills. Sometimes you gotta give the player a break and call a timeout and say, today we're not gonna do what we normally do. We're not just gonna hit forehands and backhands, serves, play some points out, overhands and go home. Excuse me. We're not doing it. Today we step away from the court. Let's go to the weight room. Today we step away from the court. Let's go train in the sand. Today we step away from the court. Let's go watch film. Today we step away from the court. Hey, you know what? Let's just go talk about your goals. Let's figure out, are we in the right direction? Are we shooting for the right things today? Today we take the time out to make sure that our development, our growth, our winning, our lack of winning doesn't hurt us. Take the time out, burn it early enough to make sure that you are back in the pace that you want to be in. If you don't take the time out, this is coaches, players, and even parents. I know you're pushing your kids hard, or they're pushing themselves. If you don't take that time out, you risk being out-coached by those coaches that do give their players that little time out. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to take time and say, you know what? This tournament, we're going to lay off. I want you to go be a kid. I want you to go to the movies and chill with your friends. Some of these kids, especially in tennis, that's all they know. They don't have another friend outside of the sport. Not one. Everything. They eat, sleep, breathe tennis. You gotta have other friends. You gotta be able to have a balance. So, again, coaches, players, parents, take the time out. I promise you, if you don't learn how to take that time out, your game may see a big drop. You may be in a snowball so bad that you never want to play the sport. You get burnt out. That's not what you want for yourself. And if you love the game like I do, you want to play it and have enjoyment when you do play it. Learn when to burn the time out. Take a step back. Put yourself in the right track. Evaluate where you're at. Evaluate what's going on around you. Evaluate your growth. Evaluate what's stunning your growth. That's what you do on a timeout. You make the adjustment. Sometimes a timeout is just to get some water. I've burnt timeouts because my starting five was busting their heads, and we're about 25 with 4 minutes left. Why do I still have my starting five in? Timeout. Good job, guys. Take a seat. Let them finish out this game. Know when to take the timeout, and if you don't burn the timeout soon enough, you can find yourself being out coached by somebody who has allowed their player or their kid or themselves to take a timeout. Alright? Hey man, love y'all. You guys have been amazing. Please go like, comment, subscribe, share this. If you understand that you got to take that time out, if this has been something that's helped you guys, please go share it. Thank you guys so much for your time. Part 3 is coming next week, so be on the lookout for it. All right, this is Game Time Tennis. Peace.